Hope on Hope Street. My name is Olivia. I am 35 years old and life has been a relentless challenge. I have 2 children, Sophie, who is 11, and Oliver, who is 7. They are my entire universe. Every single thing I do is for their sake. I lost my mom to illness when I was just a girl. A few years later, my dad passed away in an accident. I believed I had endured the worst life could throw at me, but fate had other, crueler tests in store. I married young, naively believing in happily ever after. After 12 years, my husband declared he'd fallen out of love and walked out. Oliver was barely 2 years old. No calls, no maintenance, no child support, absolutely nothing. From that moment on, it was just me against the world with my 2 kids in tow. We live in a cramped council flat on Hope Street in Manchester. It's not much, but it keeps the rain out and is our sanctuary. Some months, making ends meet and covering the utilities feels like an impossible puzzle. I never got my A levels, so job prospects are slim. Giving up, however, is a luxury I cannot afford. I work as a carer for a private agency, looking after elderly and vulnerable clients in their homes. I administer medication, prepare meals, and offer companionship. But the wages are meager. To bridge the gap, I also clean offices in the city center after hours. No fancy contract, just cash in hand, relentless work. I scrub, I hoover, I polish, often until my hands are raw and my back aches. Some clients are lovely, some treat you like you're invisible. Some try to shortchange you on payday. Still, I soldier on. My children rely on me. Food on the table, uniforms for school, heating during the bitter Manchester winters. Even on days when I'm run down with flu or crushed by exhaustion, I push through. At night, when they're finally asleep in their bunk beds, I watch them. I smooth their hair, kiss their cheeks, and make a silent promise. One day, love, one day, things will be better. This fragile hope is my fuel. Then, one bleak November evening, everything shattered. It was lashing down with rain, a proper Manchester downpour. I had collected the kids from after-school club and we were rushing home. The pavements were slick and empty, the wind bitingly cold. Sophie held my right hand, her small fingers curled in mine. Oliver, sleepy, clutched my left. "Mummy, I'm freezing," Oliver whinged softly. I pulled him closer, tucking him under my coat. "Nearly there, sweetheart. Just round the corner." Then, blinding headlights. A screech of tires on wet tarmac. A deafening thud. Then, nothing but darkness. I came to in a stark white room at Manchester Royal Infirmary. The familiar, antiseptic smell filled my nose. The steady beep of a monitor was the only sound. Panic, sharp and immediate, gripped me. My children. Where are my children? A nurse with a kind face appeared swiftly. "They're absolutely fine, love. Just a few bumps. They're waiting for you to wake up." I dissolved into heaving sobs of relief. Minutes later, the ward door swung open. 2 little missiles in pajamas launched themselves at my bed. "Mummy," they cried in unison, burying their faces in my hospital gown. Clutching them felt like coming up for air after nearly drowning. Then the consultant arrived, his expression grave. "You've sustained a complex fracture to your tibia, Ms. Carter. You'll require surgery and then significant rest, no weight bearing for at least 8 weeks. Rest." My voice was a strained whisper. "I can't rest. I have shifts. I have rent. I have them." He gave a sympathetic but firm shake of his head. "Your health is the priority now." The blows kept coming. The agency let me go due to extended unavailability. Then, a solicitor's letter arrived. During the accident, my cleaning trolley had smashed into the front window of a high-end boutique on King Street. They were claiming damages of nearly £15,000. £15,000. The world tilted. That night, after the children were settled on a cot in my room, I wept silent, desperate tears into the starched hospital pillow. This was the end, the abyss I had fought so hard to avoid. Then, the unexpected. A community support worker had shared our plight in a local Facebook group. The story of the single mom from Hope Street, working 2 jobs, hit by a carcinated Strangers from across Greater Manchester began donating through a crowdfunding page. Messages of support flooded in. Then, my mobile buzzed with an unknown number. A calm, educated voice spoke. "Olivia, my name is Alistair. I read about your situation. My foundation would like to intervene and help." A mix of wariness and wild hope flared in my chest. "Why? Why would you do that?" I asked, my voice thick with emotion. "Because everyone deserves a fighting chance," he replied simply. 2 days later, Alistair himself visited, accompanied by a support worker. They brought bags of groceries, new winter coats for the kids, and toys. He wasn't some distant benefactor, he was a local businessman who believed in community. His charity, the Northern Lift, covered all my medical incidentals and began liaising with the boutique's insurers. Weeks later, after I was discharged and struggling on crutches in our tiny flat, he visited again. "Olivia, we have a solution. One of our partnered housing associations has a fully adapted ground floor flat coming available. It's yours, if you want it. No more stairs. A proper garden for the kids. A secure tenancy." I was speechless. For us. But the cost. "Consider it handled," he said with a warm smile. "Your fighting spirit is investment enough." The move to the little terraced house in a safer neighborhood was our fresh start. For the first time in a decade, I slept through the night without the knot of anxiety in my stomach. Months into my recovery, Alistair asked over tea, "What's your dream, Olivia? If you could do anything." I didn't hesitate. I've always wanted to run a little community cafe. A place where carers like me could get a decent, affordable cuppa and a bite. Where no one feels alone. With seed funding from the Northern Lift and business mentoring, Hope's Nook was born. It started as a pop-up and is now a beloved fixture. I'm not just getting by anymore. I'm building a life. I'm providing not just for my children, but also a warm space for others. Alistair didn't just give us charity, he restored our faith. He proved that compassion isn't dead, even in the hardest of cities. I started with nothing but a thread of hope on Hope Street. Now, we have stability, a purpose, and a future. If you're reading this in your own dark moment, please hold on. Even in the pouring rain on the darkest street, a door can open. A hand can reach out. Better days will come. Keep the faith.